Good morning. That alarm was definitely waking people up today. So good morning, afternoon, evening, and best wishes to us all now and through the new year. I'm Lisa Giuliani, the APF Events Coordinator, and we welcome you to the APF Awards Ceremony, North America Time Zone. Here is an overview of the flow of the ceremony. So we'll start with some acknowledgements. We'll move into IF Awards, Student Awards, and we'll have some breakout room sessions. We hope to keep you for about an hour and 20 minutes, about an hour and 20 minutes. It may look like an hour and a half. You're welcome to stay till the very end. There is a surprise, so I hope you do stay. And it's okay if you have to go. We are recording, and we look forward to seeing you and connecting with you soon. So to kick off, we would like to introduce to you our APF Chair, Tanya Schindler. Tanya is an internationally recognized futurist with over a decade of experience in the areas of foresight, innovation, leadership, and strategy. She is the CEO of Futures to All and founded the Future Space Community. Tanya is a valued keynote speaker and sharing her expertise to empower others to adopt a future-oriented mindset and deal with uncertainty. Thank you so much. Over to you, Tanya.
Thanks, Lisa. Welcome everyone. So great that you're joining us for our first official big APF event this year and to kind of start the year. As Lisa said, I'm Tanya. I'm the former vice chair of the APF for the last 3 years and been serving with Sherman, a previous chair, on this board since 2021. Also want to thank Sherman and all of the other board members who decided to not renew or discontinue, but for serving and to really bringing the APF to the new speed that we're currently at. Sherman decided to do his PhD in Australia, which is a thing that's going to my heart because I did my master's in Australia at Swinburne with Peter Hayward, who's actually here as my professor, which is almost 10 years ago. I think it's 8, but I'm an APF member for almost 10 years and doing foresight in a similar, started in corporate work, then across startups and recently working for the EU Commission as foresight advisor. With the APF, I'm super excited for this year to really put you more in new grounds. And if you thought in the past year, I may haven't heard enough from us, I can promise you this year will be different. I just want to say that I'm with Foresight and Futures with all my passion and heart, and I hope that all of you will join me within this because the APF can always only grow and thrive with all of you there. And putting your energy, your time, and your effort into it. So we're planning a town hall end of February, and we're sending out a newsletter, a chairs report this week with all the information, where we update you on our 3-year strategic plan, as well as our yearly calendar and on new initiatives of how you can activate, join an initiative and grow this community with us. So I'm really, really excited to see and to have you all on board with this. For the APF, we're all about community and platform creation. So we want to collaborate with all the other foresight futures communities out there. I believe there's not enough futures and words out there, so it's all on us to really bring across the message and to talk about the things that are important to us, which is using foresight, using futures thinking to really creating positive futures transformation and encouraging people to shape actively the future today. And this is why we're all here and we're doing this. And I'm super excited to the session today where we have so amazing award winners and just showing how much the field has evolved, how much to get inspired from different other sections like design, like fiction, like science fiction, strategy, innovation, and arts, of course. So we can only listen and learn because this is always a journey where we will continue learning, listening, and growing with that. As I said, the APF is revamping the strategic plan. We will have also an updated vision and values. So join us for the town hall end of February to see what's up for the next 3 years and how we design to bring more members value to you, connect you, create more community events, so we can really start creating the futures and the connectivity that we're looking for to foster the field and to bring professionalism to foresight and futures thinking. Today we're here it's my honor to announce a few special awards to you, which already have been given in person to the award winners in Dubai and also announced last year. So we can continue with the next one, which is Peter Bishop. Big thank you for all that Peter has been done in growing the APF. He received the Cindy Freeman Award. So there's a little typo. Sorry about that. We will change it immediately. Because Cindy Freeman, Cynthia is probably her long name, right? And I only know her as Cindy. So maybe it is. Let me check on that. But Cindy Freeman was for 7 years the APF chair as well, and really brought the APF to a new speed. So she was the first one to receive the award. She didn't invent the award. It was given to her after she finished her term as a chair. And last year, it was the second time that the APF gave this award to Peter Bishop for his dedication and support and effort that he put in growing the APF community with us. So again, congratulations to Peter Bishop. The next one we want to highlight is our Emeritus Member Awards. The Emeritus used to be a membership, and we decided last year to shift it also to an award, so that we can award members who really been with the APF for really long time growing. So Mary Jane is a founding member and is one of the reasons with many other founding members why the APF existed and when this sparked and the World Future Society conference. So congratulations to Mary Jane, and thank you for being such a valuable member to our community. And with the Emeritus members goes also a long life free membership for the APF. So we're really happy to have you. And we hope to reach out to you to learn more from you continue to have you part of our community. So congratulations. Okay, and then it's for me to introduce and then hand over. I think there is another video coming, but congratulations to the Emerging Fellows on 2021 and 2022 who just finished their terms of the Emerging Fellow program, which is our program for emerging futurists into the community. They're writing, they're sharing, they're researching. So it's really valuable for us, and it's a great group of people who connect globally to grow and to learn and to also shape the APF. So thank you for being here, being a part of that. And thank you for also shaping the Emerging Fellows program, because Patricia Lustig shaped that program in a way that the Emerging Fellows design the program on their own, and they select the next participants on criteria. And they also decide what they want to do in the program and who they want to talk to and connect to. So thank you also for Patricia Lustig for reinventing that program. And I think we have a video message from Patricia.
It's helping people who are new to the field of futures and foresight uh, get some visibility, get linked into what's going on, get linked into networks, and become part of a community that's focused on learning, because that's what the emerging fellows are.
Wow.
Well, the 2021s really helped to develop the program and change it into something that it hadn't been before, and focus it on building the community and building the community across cohorts as well. And they've been amazing. And they started with a 3-year program and decided that was a bit much. So we moved it to a 2-year program. And we continue to have the program emerge as the fellows want. That's what it should be. It's not up to us to decide. It's up to us to enable. The 2022s, well, both cohorts were amazing. The 2022s, we kind of started to settle into it. And they're also taking over the sustainability of the program. So they took over some of the content teaching and coaching people to do that. Each cohort coaches the next. It's wonderful. And that was their idea. I think it's really, well, certainly for me, it's about legacy. It's how can we get more people doing and using foresight and futures thinking, because the decisions that people are making today are not the best. And it's because of lack of foresight. I mean, super important to improve that and to get people using it helps you be less worried, because it helps you, what do you call it? Fence in the uncertainty, understand what really is uncertain, and what you have agency over. And that's the best gift we can give people. So we've got some really cool ideas coming up for later, where emerging fellows might run interviews and fireside chats with emeritus fellows. Talk about a generation, um, not necessarily in age, probably, but not necessarily in age, but certainly in new to the field and old hand. I think that'll be really interesting.
Thank you, Patricia. And last but not least, we want to recognize some of our long-standing members, Jennifer Jarrett, Jim Dater, Oliver Markley, Clem Bezold, Vern Wheelwright, Cindy Freeman, and Richard Slaughter. Without them and without any of you, of the members, the APF wouldn't exist. We are a member-driven association. So thank you for being here, and thank you especially for those long-standing members to be part with us and to continue and grow from the past to the present to the future, which we will also continue as a mission to get in some cross-generational and intergenerational exchange, and see how we can get our long-standing members together with the emerging fellows and our merited members, and see what knowledge we can share across those generations. So stay tuned for this. And now it's on me to say, have fun within the next hours. Congratulations already to all the winners. Thank you for contributing to futures thinking, foresight, future studies, and the whole community. And I hand it to Lisa or directly to Peter Hayward.
Thank you so much, Tanya, and welcome to the APF as a chair. We really are looking forward to supporting you in this role.
Thank you so much. And I'm always here and approachable, so feel free to reach out and talk.
Wonderful. Next, we're moving on. Next, we will showcase our 2023 APF Student Award winners. And to kick off this portion is our special podcast host of the Future Pod. As a futures practitioner, lecturer, Peter has been passionate about the field of futures for many years. His focus is to promote the use of futures thinking in corporate, government, and not-for-profit organizations, and to support and mentor the up-and-coming futures practitioners throughout the world. Over to you, Peter Hayward.
Thanks, Lisa. congratulations to the awards announced by Tanya. Great to see the older people being recognised and their knowledge being something useful to the next generation. So I'm here to represent the student side of it. And so since 2011, the APF has been recognising best student work. I saw in the audience Vern Wheelwright, I believe, is watching, and Vern, I believe, was the first person to convene the Student Awards. And the Student Awards are there to meet a couple of purposes. One is we want to support the institutions that teach futures and foresight, because it is very difficult to survive in university systems, and having recognition with professional associations just helps the teaching programs. Secondly, of course, we want to promote good work. And so we want the prizes to be an encouragement to students who are learning futures and foresight to do good work and to recognise them. And thirdly, we want to bring those students that do the great work towards our community, to introduce them to us, to explain who the APF is. And if they want to stay, they'll be welcome. So that's kind of the purpose of the awards process. And this year's awards were no different. Today we have 4 of the winners of the awards, and we have got videos from 4 of the winners, and then you'll have breakouts. 3 of the winners, and then you'll have breakouts, which everybody in the audience will be in a room, and I'll talk about that. So can we roll the videos for the 3 winners that we have today?
Hello, my name is Patricia Mwenda, or you can call me Trish. I am one of the recipient winners of the AFP Award. My thesis was titled "She's Not Alone: Afrofuturist Wearable Devices for Speculative PTSD Treatment in Kenya." The central focus of my project was to design a wearable device to help people who've experienced domestic abuse cope with their mental health through existing PTSD treatment embedded into the wearable device. One of the key questions I was trying to answer was to leverage Afrofuturism and African futurism as a design lens to reimagine PTSD treatment and showcase themes related to inclusivity and empowerment. One of the findings, or the unintended outcome, was the design of the Tulia 2 band, which is envisioned as a symbol of domestic abuse awareness. And it is designed based off of the Tulia band, which is behind me here. And this demonstrates the potential for unexpected and impactful outcomes in the process of designing wearable devices. The project was aimed to impact female identifying individuals, specifically from Kenya. And something that was unique about my project is that it borrows design influences from Kenyan culture, specifically the Kenya band, to highlight the importance of raising awareness of domestic abuse and mental health in Kenya. And that's a little bit about my project. Thank you so much.
Of my research project explored the future of national identity and sovereignty through the lens of mass migration. The key question I was exploring through experiential futures was to consider if the ways in which we identify ourselves will continue to be tied to sovereign lens, or will identity be more fluidly constructed. A key finding of my research found that decoupling identity from territorial boundaries can widen the scope of possibility for creating more fluid constructs for identity when the focus shifts away from the stories and myths we carry regarding national identity and towards something more collaborative. This project was the second attempt at an effort previously commissioned by an interdisciplinary impact group focused on global strategic competition embedded in one of the DC area's many consulting firms. The most unexpected aspect of this project for me was, although only one scenario was developed, the use of EXF to frame the scenario, in addition to the identification of key drivers, opens up the opportunity for further exploration of alternatives to mediate and mount or remount different futures regarding national identity and sovereignty. These may become more relevant as digital culture and citizenship across demographic groups increases. Of my research.
In the evolving digital realm, the rapidly expanding esports sector faces a knowledge gap among governments, tech firms, and gamers, unfairly benefiting tech platforms. Closing this gap is crucial, especially as esports reshapes sports perceptions for generations like Gen Z. Collaboration among stakeholders is key to fully grasp and harness esports potential. Looking forward, defining esports in a way that fuels its growth and alters our sports view is critical. This involves leveraging its unique traits through effective models and strategies. The prosperity of esports relies on community-level education and support, such as partnerships with local initiatives and training programs focused on data rights and dual identity management, crucial for athlete growth. Our aim is to engage various stakeholders to reflect on how traditional sports influences the decentralized esports realm. By examining esports dynamics, playing, watching, governing, we seek to understand how interactions among diverse players shapes the definition of sports.
So thanks to our winners. So now we're going to break into, I think we're going to have 3 breakouts. There'll be the room that we're in now, and there'll be 2 other rooms. So when I break, which is coming up, you will either stay in the main room, and in that room there'll be a winner, or you'll be moved into a second or a third room. There will be an emerging fellow in that room to facilitate the conversation. I think we may have a floating 4th facilitator, so I will suggest that facilitator be placed in a room to help out with one of the rooms. So again, what's going to happen when you go into the room? You're going to have the winner, and you're going to hear a bit about their work, and I'll just quickly step you through it. For the people who are hearing about Trish's work, it's quite remarkable work using technology, almost science fiction, to actually talk about a current issue, which is domestic violence and the stress and the health effects on women. And Trish explored that through a design lens, but also the cultural aspect of it. And it's a very, very interesting piece of work on that. In the case of Gillian was touching on a very topical issue around this notion of identity and territory, and whether we could move beyond people having closed idea of who they are and where they are. And she explored this use of a technology called EXF, or ethnographic experiential futures. And she found that if we can move conversation, people can change their mind. And lastly, the eSport team, for people of my generation, eSports is a phenomenon that has come upon us remarkably quickly. It's gone from simply a fringe thing of kids playing games to now being an Olympic sport. Millions and millions of participators, money, but this also touches into what is sport? Is sport activity, or is it virtual? Is sport real, or is it fantasy? A fascinating area that I think has implications just beyond that. So when you go into your group, I'm going to ask the facilitators to facilitate. You've got 20 minutes in the room. I'm going to ask facilitators to split the time between 2 questions. To the audience, when you go into the room, my first question is for you to learn from these people that have won, because they know something about a domain that I'm going to suspect that most of you don't know a lot about, either the method, the domain, the way they went about it. But you've got about 10 minutes to learn from them what this was about, what is useful to us as practitioners. And then the second question I want the facilitators to flip over is now the audience to give advice to the winners about how they both leverage this work, because it is remarkable work, and how they use this work to both leverage and promote their careers in this space. So there'll be Trish's will stay in this room. I believe that Gillian will go into another room, and I think Chris and Joanne will be in a third room. So on that basis and on that briefing, go into the breakout rooms and do some talking and do some learning. Thanks.
Thanks, Peter. Thank you for that. And I'm just going to drop the questions in the chat. So here's the first question that you can discuss in your room. And what do you want to learn about the project, domain, from the winner? And then also, what leverage opportunities exist for the winner to best promote and advance their career? So these are some things that you can talk about. In the scenario that you don't have any winners in your room, still discuss the questions as if there was a winner there. We are asking if you can record emeritus fellows, maybe in your room. You may get a surprise emerging fellow in your room. And if you can record, that'd be great, but no problem if you can't, and send that to me later. Thank you all, and we can initiate the breakout rooms. Bye. Music in this room will amazing. So in this room, are there any winners in this room? Any winners, any student award winners can identify themselves in this room? No award winners in this room. Okay. Well, Peter, it was your question. Is there anyone in this room that does have any questions for the student award winners in which we can capture, or any ideas on how to leverage those opportunities that the winners displayed in their video? Of course, you can learn more about the winners on their website, but for the sake of conversation, I'll pause and let anyone take the lead.
I know there are quite a number of governments that are interested in this question, and I'm sure that Julia, at least thinking about the identity question, national identity, it's a big issue. And to the extent she could prepare a video that summarized what she did, offer her services to a number of governments. But it is an interesting finding, and to the extent that even the method could be used in countries, as a way of in education settings and others, it's interesting experiment worth sharing.
Yes, it was interesting, Peter, because what she found, I mean, the issue of identity and territory, as you know, is a very, very political and hot topic. And what she did was she explored experiential futures through the ethnographic lens, using the work of Stuart Candy and Jake Dungan. And she she found an old idea from Scotland, which was the notion of the rover. This is also in Sweden, where people who maintain their civic right to roam and rove over land. In other words, land is not territory, it's actually, and under this notion of your rights as a rover to move where you want to go. And that's why when you look at her, you see the boots and the whole roving badge. And so she created this kind of scenario around this quite dramatic concept that is different to no territories owned by people. And as she said in her work, what she found was that the conversation was possible when you move them into a future that is different to the now. And people became less attached to land when they focused on rights. That's kind of the interesting point. And I think that is a point around, because as you know, political spaces are struggling. How do you break out of this dichotomy of us versus them, people who are here and people who aren't here, people putting up signs saying we're full, and people needing to move?
Yeah, to the extent that experience helps build understanding and empathy, it sounds like a great
Yes.
experience.
You can really see with the kind of making it tangible with the artifacts how it shifted on that. I was wondering if we can create a virtual room or collect those artifacts in a way. I know we had in a Futures festival once there was in Australia, they built a virtual museum of things. So I would love to dig into the opportunity to see if we could put all those stories of artifacts somewhere to go. I'm working with the EU Commission a lot with artifacts on the future, and I feel this is something that brings the future and the present and starts the conversation, though, of the future, but make it tangible. So,
yeah, I think Peter's point, and I think yours, Tanya, is because this is such a live political issue all around the world, that maybe the APF could create a kind of either video it or create a virtual version of it to sort of, as Peter said, offer it to people who want to have a constructive conversation about this rather than just this destructive nationalistic, we're here, they're not, you know. And I just wonder whether, given what's going on in the world, and there's only going to get more and more pressure, that becomes another one of those public offerings that we offer to really anybody, any group, any political group, any local group. And how do you talk about these things and get somewhere rather than just shout at one another?
We do really well at collaborating and talking and iterating processes. That is, I echo what you said, Peter. How do we move from talking to maybe, is it action? Is that what you're searching for? But before you answer that, I also want to welcome Joanne, a student award winner who is in this room, in case she can say a few words about her project. Welcome.
Hi, Joanne.
Hi. Sure. Okay. I can say, well, I can talk about our motivation for breaking into esports. We were motivated by kind of researching about agency and why we're still using that as a model in sports, and what the limitations are around getting outside of that. And we were really intrigued that we're still so attached to it. So that kind of led us into, well, what else is kind of going on in sport, and why are we so attached to a certain definition of what a sport is? And that kind of led us to esports is such a critical such a critical point, because the infrastructures are not necessarily supporting the athlete, and the athletes are very young. And it's sometimes beyond the scope of even a parent to understand what are all the variables. So they're getting into the same sort of agency traps with corporations wanting them to sign contracts that these 12 and 13-year-olds don't even know what it kind of means. So we were using featuring as kind of creating scenarios where we could all learn, a diverse group of stakeholders together could learn what some of those extreme versions of the future mean, and what does it really mean to support an athlete. And yeah, I think that's probably a hot minute and a half there about the project.
A question for you, Joanne, and again, to explain this, I mean, this notion of people, I mean, young children finding sport through the virtual space, to people, say my age and parents, they may see as being really bad news. a thing that's going to make it
Oh.
worse for their children.
Oh, okay. So,
But of course, there's actually opportunity that this actually helps children. Can you talk through this idea that esports is not necessarily heading to bad outcomes for young people?
So I do think there's a few things that we could talk about there. First of all, the movement is different. It's incorporating music, it's incorporating body movement, actions that are perhaps different than how we would perceive it. The entry is different. So you are a child doesn't have to be, incorporated necessarily into the sort of structure of rep playing, getting that bond with one particular coach, and like the channel for getting into a standard sort of into the standard world of athleticism is very linear, right? There's not very many entry points, and it's very expensive. Now, not to say esport doesn't come with expense. There are entry-level technology pieces, but there is a little more openness to who is allowed to do it, who is able to get into the headspace. So as you evolve it and become very competitive, they train for it, they eat for it, like it's like a total sport on its own. But because it's kind of grown outside of the landscape a little bit, it's of what standard sports are, it's a real sort of consideration. Like, yeah, I don't know if that answered your question or not, but
that's fine.
sort of, yeah.
Has anybody in the audience got any questions for Joanne about the domain or the way they kind of researched it before we actually move to the second part of this?
Peter, we have 2 questions in the chat. We have one comment from Sarah. A very important conversation from an Indigenous perspective. Connectivity to land, place is our identity. How can this be incorporated? Sarah, maybe that was to what we were discussing earlier, if you wanted to comment on that or comment to Joanne. And then there's a second question, but I'll wait for Sarah.
That was for Joanne, but we jumped into esports, so I'll let the esports conversation continue for flow. Thanks, Lisa.
Okay, thanks, Sarah. Well, we have your question. We'll definitely keep it in the queue. And Emily Sharp says, it'd be great to hear about access and equity benefits of esports too, and the future for all being able to access sports. And we also have Chris, who's part of Joanne's team, who's here as well.
I can jump in and explore it, but we in kind of like, I guess, in our ability or what we were scanning and the trends that we developed, kind of understanding a little bit about and seeing the idea of social connection and how that was something that was going to be challenged. I think the idea of the ability for people to earn, which has like not been something that has typically been an opportunity for those who are less fortunate or the privileged, and esports opens up that gateway of being able to create that own type of, to use your image and likeliness to your own advantage, so that ownership of what typically someone else would have been profiting from, you have the ability to now to utilize yourself and to be able to expand on that in various different ways, whether whatever you choose to be able to do it, not only just from the perspective of playing and competing in different areas, but also from creating merchandise, from generating a fan base, a follower base, and actually being able to equate that to some type of standard of profitability, which I think in the sports world traditionally has been one that has been controlled by the corporations or the entities that have typically managed and done it. So now the power shifts towards the actual athlete, and I think that creates that access or that equitable standpoint where now you're able to actually benefit from the opportunities and build a world or a future for yourself So that kind of is what we saw. And then when we think about, I guess, accessibility from the not just like a visible or accessible aspect, but the visible sides of it, the invisible sides of it too. I think there's an opportunity, I think, to expand on different ways of thinking and knowing, and I think it allows for their perspectives and that range of people that you get introduced to. So I think that's also like a very interesting point to with this as well, is that you the world starts to expand in terms of the people that you're able to interact with and engage with, and that's something that typically you know, we kind of lived in one silo or in a sector and weren't introduced or exposed to those people.
I
So, yeah.
also, can I just add one last thing to what Chris is saying? The idea of multiple identities as well is still, I guess, multiple versions of how you perceive yourself and how you choose to kind of build that out online. It's still very free form as compared to traditional sport.
Can I ask a question? Just because I'm curious that with sport, we see women are normally restricted to entry or getting a smaller share of any remuneration. If you look at physical sport, you look at the engagement of women in sport, young girls especially, and then at the income end level, how it's tilted towards men and boys. Is the esport world, it's got its sexist issues as well, but is it a more even playing field for gender?
I guess this is like a broader question, but if the system is being designed or if the same people are in power designing that space, I think there's room for it because it's so new and fresh, but I think it still incorporates a lot of that, the things that we see in sports. It's just that, I guess, because it's a space where you can create your own identity, there's a lot more room or possibility, I should say, for the pluralities of those identities to exist. But I still think I think the question is broader because then it starts to become, how is the, you know, the virtual space itself being designed in this current moment, and are we seeing the same things that we saw in the physical world be designed in that virtual space as well? So.
And there's definitely mimicking happening there. So even within the scope of that project, there was like the very first all-female team on one of like the games that was kind of one of the biggest games, and is kind of like, oh really? Like it's even because people come into it, and you know, maybe historically it's been a very male sort of perceived sport, but that's changing very rapidly. So I, like Chris said, like I think there's a lot more space for building that out, but it again sort of started out from that perspective, but it's being built out.
Thank you.
I'm going to read I've got a question from Peter Bishop. I just want to read it out to the group. Have I got time for it, Melissa?
No, Peter, it would be unfair for the other groups that just joined and are not part of this rich conversation. Okay. But the good thing is that we have it and it will be queued, and the community can build off of these questions. So they're not going anywhere, okay? And so without further ado, I want to welcome everyone back. There's never enough time for these encounters. You can learn more and get in touch with our student award winners by visiting the website at apf.org. There it is, and the winners will be showcased throughout the coming months. So stay tuned. And Peter, as we end the Student Awards segment, what is the status of the 2024 Student Awards, and where can curious students apply?
Thanks, Lisa. Yeah, we're actually in the process now of collecting the submissions from institutions that participate. We have our normal institutions who participate. We have both masters and undergraduate awards. You'll find information about the awards on the APF website. If you're in an institution that you don't think has got involvement in the APF Awards, then you can contact me or reach out through the chat and put your contact details and I'll reach out to you. But these awards come via institutions and not students. So it's the institutions that submit the work. So if you are a student or potential student who wants to be involved in this, then it'll need to be the institutions, but I can certainly work them through. So reach out to me through the APF or put something in the chat and we'll follow up.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you. And I know that you're not alone running the Student Awards. So a shout out to Charles Brass, wherever he is in the world, and to the judging team. And now we will move over to our IF Awards, Most Significant Futures Work. And to kick off this segment, we have two dedicated award conveners that I have gotten to learn and work with, and I adore them both very, very much. And they came together for the second year in search of those who are asking, what if? I have the honor of introducing Maggie Grayson, an award-winning futurist recognized by the Association of Professional Futurists for her significant contributions to the field. She also has a decade-long background designing for renowned theater companies like the International Shakespeare Globe and Stratford Theatre Festival, blending creative staging with future vision. That is fun, Maggie. Thank you. And then John Sweeney, an award-winning author, designer, and futurist recognized for his work as a practitioner, consultant, and educator. He serves as faculty at the University of Houston's Strategic Foresight Master's Program and serves as the Transformative Foresight Lead at the School of International Futures, applying his expertise in designing interactive platforms and processes to empower change on a global scale. Over to you, Maggie.
Thank you. Thank you. It is in the middle of the night for John. So if he was awake, he would send his regrets, but I think he got sucked into sleeping land just before the ceremony. So I'm here to hold down the fort for both of us. We came together a few years ago, introduced by Andy Hines and Cindy Fruin, and they individually asked us, hey, do you want to do this? And hey, do you want to do this? And then we met and went, oh my God, yes, we have to. Because we were both so energized about the way we ask what if in our own practices. And we thought, how are other people doing this? There's got to be a bazillion different ways that people approach thinking about the future in their practice, in their heart and mindset. Who is doing what? And the easiest way to find it was to just ask. So we took the Most Significant Futures Work Award, put it on its head, and did a foresight thing to it. So instead of looking to the past for tradition, we thought, you know what, let's look to the future and find out what kind of trouble can we get into. So we are here to celebrate those who are going beyond, taking risks, blurring lines, which is all of you. We particularly had over 100 submissions this year. We had over 70 submissions last year. So right now we know of 170 different projects and from individuals and organizations. And we want to be able to share more and more and more with everyone because they're great resources for each other. So all of this is about being accessible. What we want to do is to introduce you to the winners as much as possible. There's 14, correct me if I'm wrong, Lisa, 14 winners and 13 honorable mentions this year. We have a tremendous number of judges, a tremendous advisory committee, and this is really the manifestation of a community of people who are asking what if in a proactive way and want to hear about it from others. So thank you to all of you in all of your work. That's what this is about. And we do have at the moment a 2022 report of all of the projects that were submitted. Lisa created something using an AI algorithm to pull out some insights. And we have that report available in a short form and also a long form on the website in the store. So if you're interested in finding out more who, what, when, doing your own research, cross-cutting, figure out what are some of the themes that happened over the pandemic, or see where things are going in the future. There's lots of ways to do it there. So I would like to hand it over to, I guess, Lisa to start the videos.
Thanks, Maggie. Yes, we will share the videos of the folks who are in the North America time zone event. We go through here are the winners whose video you will be watching.
The FutureCast framework is now free to use and remix. We love to see organizations adopt it for a number of contexts, beyond the initial election context that we designed it for. The framework has advice on how you might go about adopting the approach to different contexts and questions. Further, we'd love to see it integrated and embedded within broader planning and foresight processes, perhaps pulling in information from earlier scenario planning exercises and then outputting to longer term planning processes as well. Finally, we'd love to see the community start to hack and remix it and then share their learnings back with everyone else. We really see the FutureCast framework as an initial starting point, which can get much more complex and much more customized to the needs of the community and to the needs of specific contexts. Please, if you do so, share what you learn. FutureCast.
We would like to continue to invite and document local knowledge from communities around the world, with the aim of expanding the open science database and share tools and insights that support the global effort to develop climate resilient strategies in all dimensions that include diverse languages and community participation. We are constantly developing new formats to share and activate the research findings. We would like to package the project data, insights, and tools in a series of public exhibitions and educational programs. This includes workshop kits, facilitator training, collaborations with municipalities, and public museums. In addition, we're exploring a digital gamified archive that will encourage users to create content and reduce the geographical and physical barriers for participation. We started collaborating with K-12 educators who are piloting some of the materials and would like to see this method developed further and integrated into the curriculum.
The Pacific Pathfinder is a toolkit for everyone, from the Futures curious to the experienced practitioner. It helps everyone use Futures tools to suit their different contexts and needs. It's easy to use, interactive, with tips and how-tos and templates. It is also inclusive in its vision, in that it will continue to be added to as more people take up foresight and future skills to become a toolkit that is truly created and shaped by the Pacific.
My name is Mashfika Jamaluddin, and I'm part of the Shameless Collective. As a group, we see so much potential for the impact that our Experiential Futures project can have in the world. Our dream is to see this project as an interactive exhibit in museums, like the Museum of Future in Dubai, the Museum of Futures in Sydney, the Futurium in Berlin, or the Museum of Sex in New York.
Our dream is to see our workshop becoming an online course or even a reality exhibit in conjunction with sex therapists and sex coaches.
I would like to see this work in front of new stakeholders who are looking for new ways to navigate and relate to challenging emotions, like community organizers, teachers, and leadership teams.
I would love to see a high-fidelity production of our project showcased at an event as an exemplar of how to address taboo topics.
Hello, my dream for the project is to work alongside sex therapists and coaches to continue to develop the project and make it the best it can be.
And you, where you'd like to see our project next.
Kick us off with a question for you, Raheem. Can you tell us, how did you come to Futures as a 15?
I was at the 2020 Future Problem Solving Program International Conference, and
I have another question, if you don't mind. How do you feel with the uncertainty of the future?
I told my friends about this event, and I hope they're watching.
Yeah, it's really simple. If you know Bandersnatch, so the chapter from Black Mirror.
Moderated, we can then be thinking about how I will bring them on into designing curriculums.
Of resources like topsoil and things like that, but as Kath points out, growing your own food can be expensive also.
Look at how we can help these young girls and women realize that they can have a future of themselves and how they can influence their own future.
For example, we have like a young person named Bethlehem that she's actually having a digital truck
team. So for example, self-awareness, empowerment, community building. That's basically what it was.
One, two, three. Teach the future.
Teach the future.
Hi, Alexis here, Pre-EMPT. Thanks to the APF for honoring the work we are doing at Pre-EMPT, where we seek to help all humanity reimagine their tomorrows for free or at ultra low cost. Pre-EMPT has just been 8 months in the making and is still in beta. But we can already see that our ultimate aim is to create a global foresight brain working for the benefit of, and in collaboration with, us humans. Our next steps include growing our client base, vastly increasing the number of voices contributing to the platform, and adding private data lakes and client databases to the mix. These efforts are well advanced. We look forward to reporting dramatic progress in the year ahead, helping reimagine our world, and applying again for an APF award next year. Best wishes from me, Alexis, and the Pre-EMPT team for your 2024. Hi, Alexis here. Pre-EMPT.
Amazing. Back to you, Maggie.
Fantastic. Oh, go ahead, Lisa.
The challenge question.
Okay, so just like we did with the student awards, when we go into breakout rooms, if there is a winner in there, then the floor is yours. You can describe your project a little bit and have people ask you questions. We have a short window of time. What, about 15 minutes? Is that right, Lisa? 15 minutes. So what I suggest you do is everyone have a question ready, and the winner can pick which questions they want to answer. So tell them what your question is, and then the winner can choose so that we can keep to time, and you can follow up with each other if there's other questions. If you do not have a winner in your room, then we've just seen 7 different videos, and it would be great to know which of those videos resonates with you and what did you learn.
Thank you, Maggie. So I just put the breakout question into the chat. And so again, I'll reiterate, you'll have 15 minutes to briefly introduce yourselves and discuss with the IF Award winners, the challenge question. And just a little thing here. Behind the scenes, I've also asked the winners to share with us if their Futures project was a song, what would it be? And I must tell you, whoever picked I'm Too Sexy by Right Said Fred, I would love to hear the Futures project behind that song. So inquire at your own risk. Winners, you facilitators may also look like emerging fellows if they're here. Amazing. That's it. Breakout rooms initiate. Thank you and enjoy. We are welcoming everyone back in from the breakout rooms. I think everyone is here. Virtually welcoming everyone back. I am curious if anyone inquired about the song, but we'll hear about that later. Let's see. You can learn more and get in touch with our IF Award winners by checking out the website at apf.org. The winners will be showcased throughout the coming months, featured on FuturePod, Compass, and throughout social media. So stay tuned and stay in touch with the community. I'll drop the link here. Peter, over to you to close us off.
Thanks, Lisa. So in closing, I hope you've had an interesting time. I hope you've have enjoyed celebrating our recognised winners, and I'll just quickly go through it. We've had Peter added as the Cindy Fruin Award winner. We've had a series of people recognised as long-term members. We've had the Student Awards and we've had the IF Awards. I suppose thematically, I just, again, am surprised, continue to be surprised by the enthusiasm, creativity, and courage of people who just want to get on with this and aren't waiting for anybody to do futures for them. In terms of the APF, as Tanya said, stay tuned. There is certainly more coming. Keep your eye out for the first Friday, the members roulette, the town halls. As Tanya said, the APF's going through a re-energising and redirecting process. Thanks for sharing your time with us. There is no celebration if we don't have people come along and wanting to celebrate. So thanks for participating with the APF Award Ceremony. To everybody watching, and special thanks to the tech people who do all the work behind the scene and make this possible. And before you go, Lisa mentioned there would be a parting gift. Can we have the slide, please? We asked all the award winners, both students and IF awards, that if there was a piece of music that could describe their piece of work, what would it be? And we have curated that selection of songs and its own IF Futures playlist. And Lisa will put the link to it in the chat as well. You can also scan the QR code and listen to the Spotify list of a quite eclectic and wonderful collection of music. I encourage you to have it going away in the background when you're trying to be the creative futurist that you wish to be. So really that is the process today. I think that I'm going to put it back to Lisa because I think we are going to do something else.
Yes, well, I just want to take a picture of the celebration. So if you have your cameras on, great. If you don't and you want to turn it on, I just want to take a quick snapshot of our bunch, of the community we're building. And let's stop sharing. A smile for your group picture. Thank you. Stop sharing that. Okay, so I'll count us down. And I think I have to scroll 2 pages. So we'll do one shot. Here we go. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Hold on. Someone just texted me. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Amazing. Let's go to the next page. 3, 2, 1. Smile. And just one last IF Awards. I don't know, something different. What can you do to be different or do the same? Be different, be the same. Be who you are. Take one more silly picture. normal picture. Ready? In 3, 2, 1. Okay, I don't know what I did either. It's okay. It's okay. If you're questioning what you did, it's great. We're all here questioning this together. Thank you all. See you maybe at the next event. See you online for sure. And have a great morning, evening. Go to sleep, wake up, do what you need to do. Bye.
Thank you all. Thank you, Lisa, Maggie, Peter,
you.
for organizing.
Thank you.
so
Thanks
soon.
everyone for
Thank you.
coming. This was a lot
Go
of
to
fun.
bed, Tanya. Go to bed.
Yeah, it's 1:30 a.m. Yes.
Yes. Good night, those of you
Good
who are
night.
staying up.
Good night.